Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I would like to talk about financial model build, and I would like to lay the foundation in Microsoft Excel how to start with financial model. Nevertheless, we won't build a full financial model in this video. I just lay the foundation where to start with. For this video I planned the following. I would like to show how to format the sheet to get a certain structure into the sheet and have to have a basis for our modeling. Then I would like to adjust the cell styles that we will use exhaustively in the next future. Then we're going to make an empty sheet so that we can copy this sheet over and over again to make new model sheets. Then we're going to make a presets sheet where we can do all the presets for the model. Then we are going to make a cover sheet. We're going to make a table of contents. And then a bit we're going to start modeling so that you know how it works. I now switch to Microsoft Excel and then we start. Okay, I'm now in Microsoft Excel and I'm going to start with a completely blank workbook. So here's my completely blank workbook. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to give the sheet a certain structure. Most of these columns are too small to have large numbers input. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all. So we have an 8-digit cell. So it's just 6-digit before the comma and 2-digit after. That is too small for nearly everything. So we need a wider cell width. So we click on the very top left corner so that we can mark our whole sheet here. Then we click with a right click on the columns, and with column width we format all columns, let's say to 13 points width. That's it. Now that since we need a certain structure, we take the first two columns and again change the width to 5, and we take E and F and change the width to 2.5. Why this? Okay, so the A column is for the main headlines, just like assets. The second is for the second headline, just like intangible assets. And the third is for the third headline, just like patents, and so on and so forth. So this is the structure that we can give the model. The D column is A for inputs, or B for mathematical formula to show what kind of calculations are done. The E column is for something like plus or multiplications, and the F is for the unit, just like euro or pieces, PC of course, or whatever we like. And of course the rest here is for financial modeling. The second thing that we're going to do, I just remove this. The second thing that we are going to do is to give all cells in this sheet this comma style, this one. So this is the comma style, so that all numbers have 2 digits after the comma. Okay, very nice. The second thing that we need to care for are the cell styles. Here are the cell styles, and wonderful, they are already pre-formatted for financial modeling. So Microsoft has already done the job for us. We already have the input cells. We already have calculation. We already have output. We also have linked data, but this one is really ugly because it does not make sense at all to have it underlined. So we need to change it. There are other things that we need to change. For example, this headline is much too high. So you already see what happens here in line 6. As soon as you format a cell in line 6 with this headline, the height of the line changes, and we don't want that. So we need to adjust the font size of the headline. Those of you who have never seen these pre-formatted cell styles, let's go into it. So the first thing we wanted to change is the linked cell. I just click with the right mouse click on, and we can use modify. And here we will be asked, what do we want to modify? Of course, since the number is not check marked here, the number format is still free. But if we want to preset the number format here, we can check this one and it's standard. Of course, we can hard code later on those numbers differently. That's not a problem. If the alignment shall be preset, we need to check mark this. And of course, I want to have the alignment check marked. The font will be preset, the border will be preset, the fill will be preset, and, very important, the protection will be preset, and it will be locked here, which means that as soon as the whole workbook is locked with a password, these cells cannot be changed by another user. You will need a password to change those cells. And I will do this to all the cell styles but the input, because a user shall only use the input cells and change them. All other cells should be locked, and only me or my colleagues from the modeling department are allowed to change the formulas. Never ever let a user that is not trained in financial modeling change your formula. That will lead to a disaster. Well, and if we have those, we can go to format, and we can now change the format. We can first change the number format. And of course, it shall be a number. 2 decimal places, 1000 separator is fine, and that's it. We can use it just like this. We can also go to accounting if we like, or general, but general is too general in my opinion. So number format is fine. The alignment should be at the bottom, that's true, and at the right, because we have numbers and they should all be at the right. The font, Calibri is fine, regular is fine, 11 point is fine, but not orange but blue, since linked data, a link in the internet is always blue, so I change it to blue. And the border should also be blue, and we use a simple border around the cell, and that's fine. And the next thing we will do is to change the fill color. And I give this a decent blue fill color. And the protection, okay, so lock is checked. So this cell will be locked as soon as the whole worksheet or workbook is password protected. And I click OK now, and I click OK now. And now the format of the linked cell has changed. I will now cut the video and prepare all that for you, and later on we will see what I have changed. Okay, now I did all the corrections. So what did I change? Mainly, I switched all these cells. Let's just show it. I just check marked all these cells. I changed the alignment so they're all right aligned. And I changed the number format to a typical number format with 2 decimal places after the comma. And yeah, that's it. I copied explanatory text, and here you see you can duplicate it and give it a new name. So I have explanatory small here, which is just a few points smaller. So this is 11 and this is 8. It's for smaller writing like formulas or something like that. That's mainly it. I centered these, so bad, good, and neutral. So that's the typical traffic light switch here, and these should be typically centered. So that's the usual one. And I gave these a bold formatting here, this accent 1, accent 2, and so on and so forth, since I feel that a bold font is a better choice here. And that's all. And now we can apply this to all these cells, but not to all, but the first few cells will be explanatory. And column D will be explanatory small. Okay, and now the first, let's say 3 lines will be accent 1. And mainly that's it. Now the sheet is prepared, and we can call this sheet the empty sheet. Oops. Because this is an empty sheet. And if we now continue, we're always going to copy this sheet. So move or copy, create a copy, and OK. Now we have a second sheet. But this sheet shall not stay empty. Here we do the presets. And now let's, first of all, of course, we give it a headline. So the headline is presets. And, well, we have better choice than explanatory text for the presets headline. We have a headline. By the way, the headlines, I have chosen a smaller font here. It's now 11 points. So that's exactly what the whole sheet is like. Well, these are the presets. And we can now set the presets. So what the model name, for example. And we just give it a few cells. We can merge those cells. It's not a big deal here. And of course, this is an input cell, so we give it an input. And the model name is, well, Financial Model Build Workshop. So this is the name of the model. And we can give this cell a name. So where can we do that? We can do it here in this name box, and we give it the name FM, like financial model underscore model name. Okay. And of course we can make a preparation date. And again, we make an input cell. And we merge it. And today is the 2nd of July 2020. Haha! Of course, we have to change the number format here. This is a date. Alright. Why is it centered, by the way? I have no idea why he did this. But centered is fine. And we give it a name, like FM, financial model, prep date. And we can give it a version number, or just the version. Again, we merge those cells. It's an input cell, and it is version v1. And of course, fm underscore version. All right. Why do we do this? Very easy. We can here now write equals fm underscore, and we choose model name. And there's the model name. And we just write as of and fm underscore preparation date. Okay, we can put the version in front. Fm underscore version and as of and the date. The date won't work like this now, because now we have this number. Well, what can we do? We can choose text and give the format text. It is day dot month dot year. Now it should work. Okay, it's not so beautiful as I wanted it. I just change and write version in front. Version. And there it is. Fine. And I make this a little smaller and put it into italics. Now that's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. All right. So we have a beautiful headline, and now of course we can put a start date underneath, or a start year, or initial balance year. And the initial balance year accordingly is 2019. This is not the right number format in this case, of course, so 2019. And now we can make a dynamic programming of the headline up there. So we have to give it a name, of course. FM initial year. And we just copy it like here. It's is equal FM initial year. There it is. And number of years. Number of years, and the model should cover 5 years. It's also the wrong number format here. All right. So this is year number not 0, of course. And here it is. Oh, by the way, we have to give it a name. So if this one is still smaller than FM number years, then G2 plus 1, else nothing. And now we can use this. And there we have 5 years. And here we use if is number this one, then this one plus 1, else nothing. Initial and centered, and we apply all of them centered, of course. And now we have a dynamic headline. Very easily made. And since I gave all these variables names and I just refer to the names, I can now copy the whole headline and put it to the empty sheet. And there's just a reference to the variable, but not back to another sheet. So everything fine here. So what we will need now, of course, is a cover sheet. And the cover sheet does not necessarily need to be like these model sheets. We can simply use a white one. And of course, on the cover sheet, we want to have the model name. We want to have the same idea, so I just steal the formula here and put it underneath. Prepared by Jan-Hendrik Meyer, Kiel University of Applied Sciences. Well, and this one, of course, can then be the title. And this one then is some explanatory text. And this one is some explanatory text. And we just remove the grid lines. And that's a beautiful one. We can also include some logos of our company or whatsoever. I think I'm going to do this. And there it is, the logo of my university. And now I think it's a beautiful cover sheet, and that's already it. Now I use the empty sheet, of course, and I copy it again. And I put it on the second place. And this will be the table of contents. So talk. We give it a headline. And of course the headline now is will be formatted as a headline. And now we can add some content here. We can also link to jump to the to the sheet we want to jump to, and so on and so forth. So this is our basic model. I'm going to save this to my hard disk, and this is the model I will start okay, I'm going to align this to the right. This is the model I'm going to start with over and over again to do financial modeling. So, as I promised, I'm now going to start modeling. Again, I use the empty sheet. And I copy it again, adjust somewhere, and I start modeling. Let's say it's a business model in this case, and I start modeling the sales. So I give it the sales. This is the sales. And of course, what is really helpful if we give some color coding to those sheets. So in the very beginning, I can start with blue color coding. The empty sheet at the end can stay white. The sales or the whole income statement could be color coded orange or whatsoever. All right, and so we start with the sales. Headline, of course. And since we try to structure the whole model the way we learned it in the previous video, we're now only modeling the sales on this sheet. Then the cost of goods sold on the next sheet. Then we will have the usual social and selling and stuff expenses on the next. Then we will have R&D on the next. Then we will have financial results on the next, and so on and so forth. So for each item we do one sheet. These sheets then are modules and they are reusable. So how do we start? We start with the volume, but we will need some volume growth. So volume, the volume is V, the volume growth is small vg, and the volume will be calculated. Volume will be calculated as volume of the previous year times the volume growth. Can we put previous year into small caps, by the way, into subscript? There it is. Beautiful. All right. So we do have an initial value, let's say 150,000 pieces, already beautifully formatted. And now we start calculations. Of course, we will have some inputs here. Cell style is input. And we have, or we expect, a volume growth of 3%. I just put the percent in here, so we have to reformat it. There's 3%, and we do some calculations on that. So we need the calculation, and it is previous years times the volume growth. And there are, no, of course not. It is 1 plus volume growth, sorry for that. 1 plus volume growth. And now we got the right number. All right, we can do the same with the price. Price growth, PG, and price, which is capital P, and the price is the price previous year times 1 plus price growth. And we put previous year into subscript because it's an index here, and that's it. The price, let's say, is 15 euro. Of course, we can also, since this is the initial balance sheet, we can make this an input cell. The price growth is an input cell. And here we got calculation cells. The price growth is 2%. Again. And the price is given by the previous year times 1 plus price growth. All right. And last but not least, we got the sales being as, and the sales, of course, is volume times price. And this is volume times price. And this is the final result of this sheet, of this module. And so we give it an output cell style. Okay, looks beautiful, perfectly reconcilable, perfectly modularized, and so we can start modeling. That's it for this video. I hope this video helped you. Thank you for listening and see you in the next video.